Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to Lumafusion 101 Part 6. Now today we're going to be doing audio. That's why I've got my nice handy dandy headphones on so I can monitor the audio as it comes out and make it as crisp and clear as possible. I don't know if you guys noticed in parts 4 and 5 the audio wasn't that great. The reason being is I got a brand new microphone that I was wanting to try out, and everything was, I checked it out, I monitored, made sure the sound was good, and I accidentally turned it off just before I started recording those two. I didn't want to go back and redo them because I thought it was a great learning moment, and we're going to use that information in this video. So yeah, there's not really much lead up to it. This is going to be a long one. We're going to talk about audio in about 5 seconds. So let's roll the intro and get started. All right, guys. We're back. We're in audio this week, so I'm going to start with the elephant in the room, and that is to say that Lumafusion doesn't have a lot of functionality to clean up bad audio. Adobe Audition does not have a lot of functionality to clean up bad audio. Final Cut Pro does not have a lot of function to clean up bad audio. It's just not something that's out there. The rule of thumb that's out there is garbage in, garbage out. So if you have bad audio, so if you have something that sounds like this is, let me play for you actually the audio straight out of the camera. So you can hear, it's not very clear. You hear all the air moving around. I sound really tinny, and I sound really like muffled almost. Now let's switch it. This is the sound coming out of a microphone that I paid $30 for from Target. I'm going to go ahead and link that in the description. It is a cardioid microphone that has its own compressor. It has the ability to monitor as you go. It has a control of the gain, so I can be better or worse. And I can control how much ambient noise you get. I also have a pop filter on, but that's just my personal desire to have. You don't necessarily need one of those. And also the video that we're going to edit today, I recorded on a lavalier mic. Now what these both have in common, the lavalier and the cardioid mic, is they both, usually when I record, I can plug them directly into my computer. Now the lavalier mic, I know I can plug directly into the phone if I need to, but I prefer to edit or to record audio separately. It's just a personal preference of mine because I can control how much compression is done prior to putting it in the video. There are a lot of really good applications out there, GarageBand, Voice Memo Pro, things like this. So just look into those, or Voice Recorder Pro, sorry. Look into those, find the one that works for you, find the workflow that works for you, and record your audio that way. Out of the gate, I'm going to tell you though, that if you don't have good audio, you're not going to have good audio. There's nothing you can do inside any editor to fix the audio. There's even less you can do inside of Lumafusion. So especially, unless of course, now I'm not saying that nobody can. If you are a professional sound engineer, you're going to find ways to work inside of Lumafusion that are going to make it, like, the stuff it does is great. I can't teach you a lot of it because I don't know it. There is a YouTuber named Tammy Sipnewski. I'm going to link her in the description. Check out her YouTube. She does a great video on fixing up bad sound. And she's actually the one that suggested the lavalier mic, and it turned out to be great. It was $10, like I said, on Amazon. I'll link that. I'm also going to link this cardioid mic, so you guys can go check it out. Yeah, the only other suggestion I'm going to give you is to look into finding, if you go to Rob HK vlogs, I know I push him a lot on you guys. It's really because he's that good at what he does, and his stuff is that good that he sells. He sells some audio presets that I use on a regular basis. I will probably use on this video, that are going to help you get a nice, crisp, cleaner sound. So definitely go check him out as well. I'm going to link that in the description also. All right, so let's jump into Lumafusion and let's get started editing some sound. All right, so here we go, guys. We are in our project. Yay! We've already got it color graded. As you see here, I have already switched it over to the Lumafusion 101 Part 6, and it is looking pretty crisp and clear. We got our color grade in, and all of that good stuff is done. So now we just have to work on our audio. So let's go ahead and you edit an audio track the same way you do a video track. So go ahead and go in and click your edit button. Now here off the top, you have two controls automatically. You have your volume control, which if this would have been recorded in stereo, you would have the ability to choose more to the left, more to the right, but it wasn't a mono recording, so we don't have that. Your volume control, as you see, you have this slider here, but you can also click on your line. Well, no, you can't. Never mind. I thought you could click on that line. Anyway, if you look down here, when you move your slider control, that line shows how much of your waveform you are showing, or you are going to be able to hear. The first thing we want to do is we want to actually come back out of this, because what we're going to work on now is something called audio ducking. What audio ducking does is it's literally what it sounds like. It ducks the volume of one track under another. So you know how when you're watching one of my videos per se, it'll start with loud music and then it'll come down as soon as I start speaking? Well, that's because of the audio ducking. So audio duck start time is, it determines how many frames in, once you start a new audio track, does the existing audio come down in volume. Now it's not going to completely wipe out the audio, it keeps it just lowered so you can hear it in the background. This is set to 15 frames, which I'm guessing this is a 30 frames per second project. I don't think I changed that when I started it. That's okay. We can go on 30 frames per second. If you're on 24 frames per second, yours might say 12 frames. Then we have our ducking start time, or duck start time. So that's how long it's going to take to start. So it's going to start about a half a second after the music starts, and it's going to take another second after that to fully go down. And the duck in time and duck in duration, it's the same thing, just in reverse. I like to set, it sets, I think, automatically at negative 20 decibels. I find negative 30 to be the area I like it to be at, but you can adjust that however you like. Just play around with it. Once you set the ducking, that is universal for the whole project, not just for each individual clip. Okay, so now let's go back in, and this is our main audio track, and we want to go ahead and go to our configuration, and you see it sets our ducking configuration. So we have this set to master, and that's what you want your main, when you're speaking, that's what you want it to be set at, is the master volume. Auto is the one that's going to duck under the other. Master is the one that's never going to change. Now you do have these adjustments you can make here. They each do something different. And again, Tammy Sipniewski does a much better job of breaking down what they do than I can. But I'm going to tell you the settings. What I like to do is for this one, I want to do the dynamics processor. The reason being is this is more of it's going to cut a lot of that background noise out. So we're going to take this and we're going to do a hard gate on it. So that means it's going to cut out hard on that background. So let's give it a quick listen and see what it sounds like. Called Filmic Pro, which gives you a really quality picture. It gives you the same basic settings that you would get on a nice digital camera. And I'm using the native lenses with just an ND filter so that you can... Okay, so as I was going, you saw I was turning the dynamics processor off and on. And that's really good the way it is. You can mess around with these. Just know that your attack time and release times, those are going to be, how far ahead your program is going to be looking to decide when it's going to make changes. So those are going to be your big ones. We might bring our master gain down, maybe 2. Let's see what that sounds like. I think it's blown out. I am using my lavalier microphone, so you guys get some pretty good sound. Okay, that's got us a pretty good sound going there, so we're going to leave that as it is. And then let's come down here to our low pass filter. Now our low pass filter is going to filter out all of our low sounds, because let me come back to a good spot here and let you take a listen. I'm going to tell you now, at this stage, going out and buying a camera is going to be stupid. It's going to be a waste of money. Okay, do you hear that train in the background? So this low pass filter is actually going to help knock some of that out. So let's give it a listen and see what it sounds like. This stage, going out and buying a camera is going to be stupid. It's going to be a waste of money. You need to learn how to use it before you buy it. So I'm using my iPhone. I'm using an app called Filmic Pro, which gives you a really quality. So the train noise is still there, obviously, but as you can see, it's a little bit lower down and it's more of a background noise. So that's kind of what you want to do here. And then your limiter should be the last thing you put on. And that just really limits the max decibel volume that you are letting it go to. I'm not going to add a limiter to this because I think it's at a pretty good volume as is. So what we're going to do is we're going to play with that ducking a little bit. So let's go ahead and come back out into our main timeline, all the way back to the beginning. And we're going to throw a blank clip at the beginning of it. And we're going to need to zoom in a little bit to see that blank clip, which is about 2 seconds long. All right, and then we're going to add our hello. All right. Well, actually, if you click your arrow here with a stop bar beside it, that'll take you back to the beginning of your clip. All right, 2 seconds is pretty good, but I actually want this to be about 3 seconds. So let's jump over here to our timeline controls, and you see this arrow? This is your snapping. This is your magnetic timeline. So basically the way it works, what's set up here is that if I move anything on this main timeline, it's going to snap all the way back to the end of the clip in front of it. This is really helpful when building out your video, but when you're trying to do some really interesting edits and you have to cut pieces out, that actually kind of starts to get in the way a little bit. And it's kind of in our way right now. So I'm going to go ahead and click this arrow. And now you see how my timeline turned purple? That means that my magnetic timeline is turned off. So now I can move. Yeah, so I put that back to 0 because it just deleted our blank clip. Now I can take this and I can move it back to where I want it to be. Because my audio and video are linked, they will move together. You can, if you need to move just one clip or just the video and you want the audio to stay where it is, then you want to just click, you want to highlight your audio, click your unlink, and it will do that. If you want to have an entire level of your timeline with no linking, you just click it here and turn it off for the entire layer. But we want to keep these guys linked right now. We just wanted that blank space. And since we're not going to make any more cuts here, let's go ahead and turn our snapping back on, and it replaced that blank space we left with another blank. All right, and we're going to go to the end here, and we are going to actually add another blank clip. This one we're just going to stretch out to be 3 seconds. Oop. All right. And that confirmed we are at a 30 frame per second timeline. So now let's go back to the beginning. And what we want to add in now is we want to add in some music. So we're going to go back into Storyblocks. We're going to go into music. All right, and we have a lot of free music here. So I'm going to pick one. I'm going to listen through them for a second. I'm going to decide on which one I want. I want you guys, though, to pick your own. I want you to find something that you think matches this footage, and I want you to use your own for it. So go ahead, really quick, pause the video, go into Lumafusion, go into Storyblocks, and find your audio you want to use. I'm going to go ahead and choose through these. And when I'm done, I'm going to click record back on, and we're going to go from there. Okay, so we are back in our timeline. I went with the Joyful Ride. I'm very intrigued to find out what you guys chose. And all right, so now we're going to come to the beginning of it, and we want to come 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 frames in, because that's about a quarter of a second. And we're going to add our transition here. And then we're going to go all the way down to the end. Whoops. Now there is the end of our link at the end of it. And let's go ahead, and if you have anything over, go ahead and cut it and delete it. And then you want to come back those 8 frames and add your transition out. All right. And we kind of want to do that here anyway. Let's go ahead and transition out our video clip at about a half a second. And let's go to the beginning and transition that video clip in. All right, now let's play it through at the beginning and see what it looks like. Okay, that was a little harsh on the ducking. So let's go ahead and go back into our ducking settings. And let's bring our start time. Bring our start time up to a second. And see how that works for us.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Lumafusion.
Okay, I like that a little bit. Our music is still... Hold on, let me turn the microphone so you guys can hear what I hear.
That's why you see this is a little different. I'm outside now. I stepped out of the studio and I'm out in the world recording.
Okay, so our background noise, our music is a little louder than our vocals. So we're just going to take our slider here and bring it down a little bit. Okay, that sounds a little better. Go back to the beginning and hit play.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Lumafusion 101 Part 4. Congratulations, you have graduated.
Okay, I like that. That's pretty good. I think we're good with that. I think we could stick with it like that. So let's look at the end and see. We might have to adjust those ducking settings for the end as well. Let's find out.
Let's jump in the studio and get started.
Yeah, I want to adjust the ducking at the end just because I feel like it's a bit too abrupt. All right, so we're going to set this back up to a minute or a second as well. And I want to do this actually about a second and a half for the duration. So let's
jump in the studio and get started.
No, duration was too long. Let's shorten that duration. Let's do the duration down to half a second. Oh no. That just sounded horrible. That was even worse. Okay, see, this is the thing. You just have to continue playing with them sometimes. And we will bring these down. Let's do it there to a quarter of a second. So I want it to be...
Let's jump in the studio and get started.
There we go. All right. Yeah, so I think I like that. Yeah. So we're gonna go with this the way we have it then. That's it, guys. You did it. You have a really good clean audio. You have a really good clean video. So there's really not we're gonna do some keyframing so you can get some little things in there and you can learn how to plug yourself. But that's after that we're done with the 101, and we're gonna any other videos you see are gonna be a lot more deep diving. So let's go ahead and practice. Like I said, audio, you need to practice. You're not gonna get good at it without it. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you use. If you don't practice, you're not going to get good. It is the hardest thing to do with filmmaking and the most important. All right, guys. So until the next video, stay safe, stay healthy, and keep editing.